later.
My upbringing, I was brought up on a dairy, beef, sheep, pig farm.
There's been a lot of exposés of slaughterhouses and there's been a lot of direct action protests, and the protesters are quite forthright in their convictions. So what do you think of that?
I think all the people, the extreme vegans, what they call extreme vegans,
So, we got Mark Moore, author of Dark Secrets of an Animal Farmer. I didn't actually know about this book. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mark Moore, ex-animal farmer, author of The Dark Secrets of an Animal Farmer.
So, The Dark Secrets of an Animal Farmer. What inspired this book? Tell us about your upbringing.
My upbringing, I was brought up on a dairy, beef, sheep, pig farm, and I think there were a lot of cruelty in there as I grew up as a kid, and I was made to undertake it, and I never really fit in to farming too much, although I carried on till about 25, and then at 25 I decided it weren't for me.
Why didn't you fit into farming?
Why didn't I fit into farming? I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it. I never enjoyed it as a kid, and I was made to go to young farmers clubs and things like that, and I had friends there and everything. I weren't like an outcast, but they were excited about being animal farmers. I was never excited about it. It just didn't gel with me. And I think as I got older I realised, as I was growing up I'd see stuff going on, and I'd say, "Isn't that cruel, Dad?" And my dad would go, no, animals don't feel like us. But as I grew up and as I got older, I started realising animals feel like us. They feel pain, emotions, even feel love for their babies when they're being, when they're nurturing them and that. So it was just a natural for me to think, this isn't right, I'm not being up. And then eventually I went vegetarian in 2002, and it worked till 2016, then I went vegan, and then I became a vocal vegan, wrote my book. I did an interview with Ed Winters, The Dark Confessions of an Animal Farmer, on his Disclosure podcast. And I just got into the circuit of going around vegan festivals doing talks. So I'm doing a talk here at Huddersfield.
Right. So
today.
In the farmer culture, what is the difference between the kind of lifestyle of a farmer and the lifestyle of your average person?
The lifestyle as a farmer, it's you're tied to the farm, so it's like you can't really. It's difficult to go away for holidays and things like that because you need to get cover. Unless it's a massive farm and you've got a lot of people working for you. But in the small family farms, they didn't tend to go on holidays. Probably a day trip here to an agricultural show and stuff like that. And you can imagine as you're growing up, if you're not really that interested in it, the only thing about farming that I used to like were tractors. I used to like all the different makes of tractors. I still like seeing them now. So it's a different way of life, and you've got to love it. If you don't enjoy farming, then you shouldn't be in it, because you're just going to be a bad-tempered, miserable sort of person.
And why do you have to be a bad-tempered, miserable sort of person?
Well, you don't have to be that. I'm saying if you don't enjoy it, you'd end up being it. So most farmers who stay in farming must really enjoy it, else you couldn't stay in it, because it's 7 days a week, and it can be up to 24 hours a day sometimes. Farmers will stay up all the time because they're getting the foraging in, or they're waiting for something to give birth and they've got to stay up. So it's like a full-time, 7 days a week, 24 hours, you're on call.
Right.
So you've got to love it to be in it.
So how do farmers view animals generally? Like when they see an animal in a field, what's the way that they talk about the animals? How do they
talk about it? The stock, the livestock. So they're called livestock. They're not called fluffy farmyard friends. They're called livestock. So they see them. So if you imagine if you wanted a new tyre for your car, you go to ATS, a quick fit, and part of their stock are tyres. Animals are just their stock. They're no more loved by the farmer than the tyres are by the garage that sells them. So that's where most farmers that I met, in my personal experience, viewed animals.
And why do they view animals that way?
Because it's a means to an end. They've got to make a living, like every business that's ever been that's ever been started. It's there to make a profit. It's simple. So the animals are just their stock, their way to make a living. Like this guy here who's selling cakes, his cakes are stock. He doesn't love them cakes, probably, but he sells them. It's the way he's going to make his money, and that's how farmers view the stock.
Yeah, so
it's a way to make a money.
Yeah, you don't love them for who they are. You love them because that's how you make a profit.
Yes, yeah. They're not like pets. You know, if you have a pet dog or a cat, you kind of love that cat, don't you? Stroking. You won't see many farmers going around giving the cows a hug or the pigs a hug, or they just, and especially nowadays with the supermarket price wars, they've got to keep more animals. That's why we have factory farms, so there's more animals. So you don't get to know them individually like you might have done 80 years ago when someone kept 6 sheep,
so you just
20 cows.
So it's more like you do whatever makes you the most. So like, do you think that the abuse that happens, it happens because they make more money?
The abuse that happens is just because that's how animals are kept. So that's how they have to keep them, and farmers won't see that as abuse. They'll think that's how you keep animals.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. They've got a different view than what I've got.
Yeah,
we don't
so
have to keep
they see them
animals
as objects, and because they only take care of the animals as far as it benefits them. So if it was cheaper to, you know, keep an animal in a cage, and then that's why then they'll do it. If it's cheaper to, you know, hit the animals to make them go somewhere, that's why.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is it. Animals are forced to do these things. That's why it's difficult. That's why they carry sticks around, and they have to give them a whack to get them in a wagon and stuff like that, and to load them up, because they don't want to do it. So you are forcing somebody. It's like, and basically animals are just same as us. They've just been born into an animal body. Whatever souls are made of, they're the same. Humans and animals.
Yeah. So what? Tell us more about the types of farms you worked on. I
worked on beef, sheep, pigs, dairy, and some poultry.
Okay. So what was your jobs on those farms?
My jobs were, when I started off at about 6-year-old, I'd have chores like feeding the hens, feeding the pigs, and then as I got older, the chores got more advanced until I was almost running the farm when I was about in my early 20s. I went to agricultural college and things like that. So that's basically what I did. So I had to almost run the farm. So it was everything from the paperwork downwards by the time I give up.
Okay, so what type of so tell us about livestock markets, because what kind of stuff happens? Did you ever go to one, or?
I was always at a livestock market. And the thing is with livestock markets, you get say you're taking a batch of lambs to sell. You get the lambs in the morning, put them in a trailer, take them to the auction mart, so they'd get there early morning, maybe 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And then there's no food or water there for them, so they're in small pens, and they herded into the ring where they're sold in a ring, and the butchers will buy them, then they herded back into the pens, and then they spend the rest of the day there. They might not even travel to the slaughterhouse till the day after, and then obviously they're loaded in wagons again, took to the slaughterhouse. No food, no water. And this is because the slaughterhouse prefer them empty, so when they cut open, you don't get as much waste coming out of them. So the emptier they are, the better for slaughtering.
Have you ever been inside of a slaughterhouse?
Yes, I have been inside a slaughterhouse, but not since about 1998 or something like that. So they've probably changed a little bit than that.
So who was murdered in the slaughterhouse? What type of animals?
The one I went in, I only went in, I used to go in, we used to sometimes sell directly to them, so I just saw the loading. I didn't actually go on the killing floor. But I was there.
So what type of? So you got cows and?
Yeah, we got cows. There were pigs there. There was sheep. All sorts. Just nearly every animal apart from horses. There's only 3 slaughterhouses in the UK that can slaughter horses. So.
Okay. So wait, is that still the case? There's still only 3 slaughterhouses.
I think there's 3 up to my last intel. There were 3 slaughterhouses in the UK licensed to slaughter horses. Now most of that meat's exported.
Yeah.
But in a way you might think that's a good thing, because a lot of the horses in the UK get exported, so they have to be exported across and slaughtered abroad.
Yeah.
But these don't have these will be exported dead, which is kinder to the animal.
So are they like ex-racing horses and?
Well, there'll be all sorts of horses. There'll be all sorts of horses.
Yeah.
They'll slaughter all sorts. Some for human consumption, some for animal consumption.
Yeah, because as soon as they just do whatever's profitable. Like as soon as the chicken's egg production declines, as soon as the cow's milk production declines, as soon as the pig is large enough, slaughterhouse.
Yeah. That's it. That's the end result for every animal, every farm animal, just to get slaughtered. That's their destiny. So
do you ever feel any remorse for anything you've done in the past?
I definitely do, and a lot of people think I'm hypocritical because I'm judging farmers, but I'm not, because farmers are brought up. Many of the farms have been handed down through 10 generations in some cases. So for a farmer to say, right, I'm giving up, they're giving away 10 generations of what the family's done. They can't do it. It's not in their heart to do it. They feel they've got to carry that tradition and that farm on. So I'm definitely not dissing farmers in any way. I've done it. I've probably eaten more meat than anybody in here. I've probably killed more animals than anybody in here. I used to be big into hunting, with guns, not with horses and that. So I've done all these things. I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm just giving people information. Once they've heard that information, how animals are treated, I respect their decision if they still decide to eat meat.
So do you think that animal farmers are bad people?
No, I do not. No, I think they definitely not bad people. I've got, probably ex-friends now, who are farmers, and they're lovely people. They've just been brought up and usually from being a child and brainwashed into that's the way of living, that's how you do things, that is their way of living. It's like when I was in my last year at school, I dropped all my exams because I thought I was going to be a farmer, because my dad said I had to take over the farm. As I got older, I thought I don't have to do what my dad says, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what kind of what was I about to ask? An animal farmer, above the animal farmers, obviously, there's the people who run the industries, there's the people who make the propaganda about, happy animals, and because obviously they're not going to show you the inside of a slaughterhouse.
No, they definitely not.
No, because that obviously you wouldn't buy it, and you wouldn't buy. Yeah, so the people who are above all the farmers who run the industry, what would you say about them? Do you think, how much to blame are they?
Well, I don't really blame them, because again, they're making a living. It's the consumer who wants everything cheap and at the lowest price possible, so that drives the price down. That means the farmer's got to keep more animals in worse conditions, and that's why we have factory farms, because of the supermarket price wars driving prices down all the time.
Yeah, so that's why you that's so even because I've seen a lot of I'm sure you've seen, there's been a lot of exposés of slaughterhouses, and there's been a lot of direct action protests, and the protesters are quite forthright in their convictions. So what do you think of that?
I think all the people, the extreme vegans, what they call extreme vegans, they're not extreme at all. They're passionate people who care about animals. If you actually love animals, you've got to do something about it. I've written a book to try and expose it, and I do these talks at vegan festivals all over the country, and some in Europe as well I'm doing this year. Just trying to let people know how animals are treated so they can make their choice. If you love animals, you would be vegan, because there's no difference between a cow, a pig, a dog, a cat, or a human. So, but veganism is, as you probably know, isn't a diet. It's a philosophy. It's a belief that every sentient being in the world should have the right to be free and treated equally. This is what I'm fighting for. This is why I'm a vocal vegan.
Yeah, because it's not about our feelings towards them. It's about their inherent rights, their intrinsic rights.
Completely, so, they've got a right to be free. It's just unfortunate that they're born into a world where a race of animal is dominant and they like the taste of the milk and like the taste of the meat. It's just unfortunate. We could have been born into that.
Yeah.
If aliens come down one day, they might like the taste of us. They might like us milk, because women might be milked, men might be murdered.
Yeah, and there's no morally significant difference between us and them that are just
that's what I believe anyway, and that's the vegan philosophy that I follow. Obviously, if you follow that philosophy, you're going to get some opposition and you're going to get some haters. You just got to deal with them, because you're bringing the winds of change. The decisions you make today is shaping the world for your children and your children's children. So I want to see a better world for them. I don't think in my lifetime, because I'm 55 years old, I'm going to see a fully vegan world, but I would like to see a vegan normal world.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, so what kind of so animals will have rights, so like you know, there still might be people, you know, underground meat markets that they're trying to hide from the police, but it'll be illegal, like how we have human rights, but there's still like sexual slavery and things like this.
Yeah,
but,
there is, yeah.
It's illegal, so humans have rights protecting them, and we want to extend just basic human rights to from humans to non-humans.
That's how I feel. Yeah, I think you're completely right there. Yeah.
So when you left the industry, what was the click? Was there one particular moment, a particular experience, or was it just kind of a gradual process?
It was a build-up of the experience. It's like I was brought up to say it's normal, and I was told as a little child that animals don't feel like us. But as I got older, I developed the ability of abstract thought, and I could see oppression, I could see cruelty, I could see animals feeling love for the babies and they were dragged away from them. So I think all that built up over time, and I thought I've got to do something about this. And first I went vegetarian, then I went vegan, then I wrote a book and became a vocal vegan.
So why was there? So what year did you leave the industry?
Sorry?
What year did you leave the industry?
I left the industry in about 1998, something like that. So it's quite a long time ago.
How long did it take you between leaving the industry and stop paying for the industry to exist?
How long did it take before I went vegan and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go vegan until 2016. It was 2002 when I went vegetarian, and I thought, I thought I was brainwashed, same as everybody else, that we needed as calcium from milk and protein, and milk was so important to our body and bone growth and stuff like that. Obviously, I realised the protein and the calcium and stuff that you get now, it's passive protein because the animals are fed on plants. They get the protein from that. Just cut the middleman out and eat your tofu, your tempeh, your stuff like that, you know.
And we try to reach the consumers because you might be talking about all the horrible things that happen in the industry, and this happens to the animals, but we want to reach the consumer because that's how the industry is funded.
That's true. The industry is funded by the consumer.
Yeah. So we ask everyone watching at home, if you're not a vegan already, become a vegan, and once you're already a vegan, speak up about this, because this won't end just because you're a vegan. You've got to also spread the word and try and help other people go vegan, and then there can be a big system change, and then more and more, and then animals can have rights, and then this ends.
Yeah, it's good to be vegan, but if you can be more vocal as a vegan, and everybody's got something they're good at, something they can do. I think you should try and do it, or even just join activism groups and things like that. See how that goes. Even on like Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, all the social media. Join some groups, see what they do, and join in with them. There's some amazing people out there doing some amazing jobs. You know what I mean? And not just the famous ones. There's a lot of...
because we're all a team. It's not just about just Earthling Ed and just Joey Carbstrong.
No.
It's a big team. Like, we need more than just those two. Like, we need every vegan to step up.
Yeah.
So what do you do to spread the word? Do you go and Have you ever been on TV or radio or big podcasts? Or?
I've just been on. I've been on Ed Winter's podcast. I go. I'm in Luxembourg in September at the International Animal Rights Conference. I'm speaking there. I speak at local vegan festivals all over the country. I was down in Leicester last week. I'm in Pudsey next week. I'm in Halifax this week. I was in York the week before that. So I do all that for free. I don't charge to come here and do talks and things like that.
Have you ever investigated farms since leaving the industry?
I go to auction marts all the time. I just put my farmer clothes on. Nobody knows anything different, and I go to and I still go around. I have family, don't speak to me now, but I still know what goes on their farms and things.
You wanna do the right thing just because everyone in society is doing something. You want to be the better person because that's how moral change happens. You know, a long time ago, not even all humans had rights. You know, you would have had racism and sexism and homophobia. And So, I mean, thanks for. Just final question, like, has the industry changed a lot since you?
Massively. Yeah, I mean, when I was a little boy, there were farms that had like maybe 50, 60 cows and they could make a living on it. They'd have 50, 60 cows, maybe 100 sheep. And now this you can't make a living with that really now. So farms have gone up, some of them fully automated, so you've probably seen it on YouTube and things like that where the milking parlours just rotate and there's robots putting the clusters on and the cows just come in and out and it's they come in to eat the concentrate, get milk, go back out.
Yeah, so now it's worse.
It's worse because it's the human element's gone out of that as well, so a lot.
Yeah, so that's why, you know, we need everyone to go vegan immediately and start spreading the word immediately.
Definitely. Definitely. Everybody should go. If you love animals, you should. Even if you just like animals, you should.
Even if you don't even have to like them, because what's happened to animals, you wouldn't wish it on like even your worst enemy. So.
No, I often say, when I get a lot of comments on my TikTok saying, "Oh well, our cows did this," I said, "Would you treat your wife or your children like that?
Yeah.
Would you artificially inseminate your wife in the manner that does,
without consent?
Or your daughters, or would you slaughter your children?
Yeah,
because they no use to you anymore,
or even a stranger, because
even a stranger, you wouldn't.
Yeah, because they have rights.
If murdering a human is wrong and you get put in prison, shouldn't murdering an animal be the same?
Yeah,
they're born into this world.
Yeah, you know,
they're sharing the same consciousness as us.
Yeah, anyway, thanks for the interview.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so where can we get your book from?
You could get it on Amazon, really. It's for sale on Amazon.
Okay, thank you. Are you doing a talk later?
Yeah, I'm doing a talk at 2 o'clock.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's in the room downstairs.
Okay.
Alright, thank you very much.
Alright, thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks a lot for that.
You're welcome. Please consider becoming a donor, because this wouldn't be possible without you, especially Phil Griffiths, Kieran Forrest, Corbin Clark, and the 40-year-old vegan. Thanks for watching. Leave a like to support the video and type a comment to tell me what you thought. Save and share this video around so more people will watch. Be more connected to me and my work on social media. Links in the description, and please consider donating to help support the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. CDA!